Howdy folks, Dr. Ed here with Total Body Healthcare, and I've got your Whiteboard Wednesday thought of the week. I know you've all heard this saying before, you are what you eat. I want you to change your thinking a little bit about that. Not that you don't need to pay attention to what you eat, you do, but more along the lines of this is a deeper statement, you are what you absorb. Why do I bring that up? Well, of course, nutrition is what we've been talking about on Whiteboard Wednesday through the month of July. It's also a very common topic for us to discuss here in the office because what we eat is very important to our overall health and well-being. And I encourage people to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Quite honestly, I've got a lot of folks in my office, my patients, that they don't pay attention to what they eat. And it's pretty evident in their overall health. I've got another section of folks, they do a pretty good job of watching what they eat, and it's pretty evident in their lives as well. They're pretty healthy. But then I have this one section, this happened for many, many years, where it was folks that did pay attention to what they eat, they did a good job of watching the nutrition, eating the proper foods, and yet they still dealt with a lot of the same kind of symptoms that the folks who don't watch their nutrition were dealing with. And for a long time, that kind of confused me. Symptoms like they seem to have a lot of allergies, or maybe every cold virus that came along, they would catch every simple little cold. They didn't have any energy, even some brain fog. Those kinds of symptoms are very common of somebody who doesn't have a good nutrition plan. But these folks did, they still had the same symptoms. So that confused me, and I really started thinking a lot about it and digging in and trying to figure out why. And I came across the topic, and I'd seen it here and there, but I finally decided to dig into it. It's called leaky gut syndrome. You've probably heard of it. I know we've talked about it before on Whiteboard Wednesday. But I want to bring it back up because it's a pretty big deal, folks. It really is. If you don't know if you have leaky gut syndrome or not, there's a pretty good chance you have it somewhat, at least to some extent, because research shows that about 80% of adults have leaky gut to some extent or another. Maybe not powerful, really devastating symptoms, but you probably do have it. Now, I'm not going to go into the depth of what all leaky gut is here on Whiteboard Wednesday this week, but you can check out a white paper that I wrote. It's on my blog on totalbodyhealthcare.com. Helps dig in a little bit, gives you some pictures so you can kind of visualize what it looks like. But it's a pretty big deal because it's definitely, if you have leaky gut, it's definitely affecting what you absorb from the different things that you eat. And that can play a huge role in your overall health. So think about that, do a little research. I have developed a supplement protocol that will help heal the leaky gut. We can talk about that on your next visit if you're interested. Have a questionnaire that you can go through to see how extensive it is for you, what all you may be fighting that you didn't even know was tied into your gut. Hopefully that gives you something to think about. Remember the statement, you are what you absorb. That's a pretty deep statement right there. I'm Dr. Ed with Total Body Healthcare. There's your Whiteboard Wednesday thought of the week.